We are highly The UK Black Business Entrepreneurs Conference is here. Get involved. '25 UK Black Business Entrepreneurs Conference. Trailblazing Wealth Creators. Attendees at the Black Business Entrepreneurs Conference get the unique opportunity to delve into the latest value. The 2021 census population size of Black and mixed race communities. Black African Caribbean and Black British is 2.5 million persons, or 4.2% of the population. African, 1.5 million. Caribbean, 623,000. Other Black communities, 300.
I am going to nurture my existing relationships, because I've met so many people here today that I haven't seen in 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and they're exactly the people that I need for what I'm doing right now. So rather than just trying to meet new people, how about nurturing and developing the existing relationships that we've got?
Okay, so I would say that it's a combination of empowerment, education and entertainment. It was a brilliant day all round, and the connections that have been made, I think, are potentially lifelong friendships, connections, business partners, and just a beautiful environment for everyone to really and truly learn and grow from.
I found it very educational, inspiring and also motivational. The talk that I went to was for the pitch to success. Because I come from a food and drink background, that part of the event was very beneficial to me, because obviously you got a chance for the producers to speak and engage with the buyers as well as the audience. So you've got to understand the journey in regards to from the producer's point of view and the buyer's point of view, and how they get their product to market, and what the supermarkets and the buyers are potentially looking for in that individual food and drink entrepreneur. So I found that side of the event 100% beneficial to me personally.
I would say it was absolutely brilliant, better than I expected. I didn't have any particular expectation, I just thought it'd be good, but I thought it was much better than that. I thought it was absolutely superb. It got the balance between education, information and inspiration. It's got all of those things mixed together, so I thought it was brilliant.
The whole day was fantastic, but if I have to pick one, I think Chris's talk at the end. Chris Bruce's talk. It was entertaining, educating, inspiring. Interweaving his life story, his achievements into entrepreneurship. I thought he was a great performer.
Carlton's presentation, really seeing like where we're at as a community of businesses, like Black businesses, in comparison to everyone else, like by the numbers, and just categorically with research that's been done, just knowing that, okay, cool, this is the work that's to be done, like this is the gap right now. I think for me that was a great highlight for me, because I've always been very passionate about entrepreneurship. I left school and dove straight into it. But I'd never had that level of insight, and just like hearing everyone's journey as well, hearing all of these stories, and just really getting a perspective of entrepreneurial history, Black British entrepreneurial history. I think that was what it was for me. But yeah, if I'd have to say Carlton's presentation, that really just demonstrated to me that, okay, cool, this is what we need to do. Like, this is where we are, this is where we can go. And these are solutions that we can explore to get us to close the gap between where we are as Black people and Black entrepreneurs and where everyone else is or may be.
My main takeaway from today's conference was, I said to Carlton, I think it's been amazing that this is the year that he's been able to run this successfully. So my main takeaway is being able to get really professional people like Chris Akabusi, Lord Hastings, Eric Collins, who came on and really gave a factual, clear explanation of what he's looking for. And also, one of the main takeaways is realizing the power of women in the future. That women are going to really take a really prominent role in terms of businesses, because in the next 10, 15 years, they are seen from statistics and what he has said as the ones that's going to be starting up more businesses in the future. So there are many takeaways, and I can't say that there's a main one. There are many, and those are just a few that I've been able to remember.
The UK Black Business Entrepreneurs Conference is here. Get involved. Yes, get involved. It's the motivator here. This is where we translate our words into action, and where success is ours for the taking. Yes, yes, yes. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Few challenges this morning, but it's all is well. We are moving forward with intention. Okay, we can go straight into this. This could be a high-paced podcast. This is one where you're going to find out information which will stimulate your brain cells, inspire you to action. Because actions, as you know, speak louder than words, okay? All right. A few quick announcements. Then I want to go into the lifestyle messages, all important lifestyle messages. Oh, I know. I've listened to your messages to me. I've read your messages, and it's clear affirmation that the lifestyle messages are making a difference. But before we get there, I just want to make two quick announcements, of course. These announcements are really denoting the fact that these podcasts are not only intended to inspire, but also to inform and to help those in greatest need. And the first quick announcement, it is an unusual announcement here on a podcast of this nature, go to an issue which affects hundreds of millions of women. Okay? An issue of real concern, particularly in the African communities, whether you're from the continent or from the Caribbean, the Americas or otherwise. It's a very sensitive issue, and that's why I'm tackling it. But I'm not afraid to tackle sensitive issues. And the issue, of course, is FGM, female genital mutilations. Yes, hundreds of millions of women have undergone this mutilation and are suffering the consequences today. Many have been told these are for cultural and purity reasons, but actually, cutting off parts of your body cannot be considered a purity exercise, particularly when it comes to women. So I want to refer you to an organization that's based here in Britain, but most certainly will have international connections. And I can put it on the screen. It's following an earlier podcast by a remarkable person who was formerly the Mayor of Southwark here in London. Okay, she is the founder of Unshackled Duma. Okay, and Unshackled Duma is a Southwark or London-based organisation that empowers women and girls, particularly from Black, Asian, and minority ethnic communities, and of course Muslim communities. The organisation focuses on promoting self-empowerment, effects, supports survivors, and works toward eradicating the practice. I know it's an unusual one to give an announcement at the beginning of a podcast, but I want to do so. But it is unusual because we don't talk about it. We don't talk about it, and therefore hundreds of millions of women are suffering the consequences of that practice. So I say to you, if you wish to help the wider community to combat this scourge, and that's what it is a scourge, okay? I'll put the details back on the screen. Contact Unshackled Duma using this email address, Unshackled Duma, UNSHACKLED UMAR followed by a digit 2 at gmail.com. Unshackled Duma followed by a digit 2 at gmail.com. www.unparalleled.com. They'll welcome your support, both men and women, of course, but most certainly they welcome support for men to discuss and combat the scourge. And my second very quick notification here, and this is an important one, okay, and it does specifically affect those who are part of the former British Empire, or indeed Commonwealth, whose countries became independent, but you were residing here in Britain, and therefore you effectively became stateless. There's a scandal here in Britain called the Windrush scandal. Okay. Persons who legitimately enter the country then find themselves stateless as a result of successive parliamentary legislation, which resulted in these persons losing their identities. The Prime Minister, former Prime Ministers have emphasised those who are affected by the Windrush scandal are indeed British. But you need to come forward, people. You need to come forward. Claim your rights. Okay. I'll put it on the screen. This is an organisation we've had here on this podcast. I wish to commend them to you, of the Windrush Legal Advice Clinic. They're based here in Britain in 58 Bank Street in West Midlands, postcode WV148PD. Email address info@windrushlegaladviceclinic.com. As it sounds, windrushlegaladviceclinic.com. Telephone number, office hours. If you're in the UK, it's 01. If you're external, it's +44 1902 382 542. I commend this service to you. And I commend, and I hope to get them back in the studio again, really to provide an update of progress made to date. It is an important organisation. It's one that we all should rally behind. And of course, you recall, we had it in the studio a few months ago, Anthony Brown. He, of course, is pioneering the idea of a Windrush Act, so to enshrine in law and to correct the injustices of the past. So in law, those affected by the Windrush Act will have direct legal recourse, but it is enshrined in this act, as opposed to going through the long-winded process which is currently brought upon you. So to contact Anthony Brown, use this email address, or indeed website address is www.wdlegal.co.uk. Repeat, website address is www.wdlegal.co.uk, and you're able therefore via that website to make direct contact with Anthony and his team. Join the campaign for a Windrush Act. I commend that initiative to you all. Okay. There you are. As I said, this is going to be a truly inspirational podcast. It will address the economic status of African people, Black people alike, here in Britain. The entrepreneurship that it is very much a feature of the community, the growing business community, which is a feature of the community. Wealth creation is very much the fore. Wealth creation that will extend not only in Britain and the British Isles, to the Caribbean, of course, to the continent of Africa. The future is what we make of it. The future is what we make of it. But before I get to that part of the podcast, which will be in approximately 20 minutes' time, I now need to move to the all-important lifestyle messages. Yes, this has been a consistent feature of these podcasts. Why? Because we are living through a public health crisis. Yep, it is a public health crisis. If you have the majority of our women who are obese, overweight, with all the accompanying complications that causes, it is a public health crisis. If we have way above levels of diabetes and hypertension, yeah, that is a public health crisis. If you have women having babies, but then having complications, partly due to their physical condition, okay, that is a public health crisis. There's much more I could say, much more I could say. So we must consider our health, our general health and well-being. Remember, our health is indeed our highest wealth. No matter what we say in this podcast going forward, our health is our highest wealth. Yeah? Greater money and it's all well and good, but our health is our highest wealth. So I want to share a few messages with you, and I want you to pay close attention to what the professor says. It's not me, it's not the motivator, what the professor says, who's an expert in the field about health and well-being. It's only a few minutes, but I urge you to pay close attention to it. And if in doubt, ask questions. Listen keenly. This is for you. The Motivator Show. The internet's most inspirational podcast. Every Saturday morning from 8 to 10 a.m. I choose a healthy lifestyle. I will relax and when possible attend a spa. I will eat healthy food and drink appropriate amount of water each day. I will exercise and maintain fitness. I will not be afraid of doctors and seek out medical examination when I need it. I will promote good mental health because it's important to me. I deserve to be happy. London is United Kingdom capital city. It is amongst the most cosmopolitan in the world. It possesses all possible extremes, including in wealth, cultural and religious diversities. The main causes of illness and premature death in London, like the rest of the United Kingdom, are coronary heart disease, strokes, cancers and respiratory diseases. Other key health challenges in London include tuberculosis, issues relating to sexual health, including HIV/AIDS, mental health, and drug and alcohol misuse. It is likely that these issues and diabetes and obesity will continue to be priorities over the next 10 years. As London's diverse population increases, there's also likely to be an increase in diseases, which are more prevalent in some Black and ethnic minority communities, such as high blood pressure and renal diseases. I choose a healthy lifestyle. I will relax and when possible attend a spa. I will eat healthy food and drink appropriate amount of water each day. I will exercise and maintain fitness. I will not be afraid of doctors and seek out medical examination when I need it. I will promote good mental health because it's important to me. I deserve to be happy. London currently has high levels of health inequalities with unacceptable variations in infant mortality and life expectancy across the capital. Tackling these issues is likely to remain a key challenge over the next 10 years. London is United Kingdom capital city. It is amongst the most cosmopolitan in the world. It possesses all possible extremes, including in wealth, cultural and religious diversities. The causes of health inequalities are similar to those that determine health in general, including, for example, housing conditions, employment opportunities, environmental factors such as pollution, the amount of exercise undertaken, one's diet and smoking, and access to health services. I choose a healthy lifestyle. I will relax and when possible attend a spa. I will eat healthy food and drink appropriate amount of water each day. I will exercise and maintain fitness. I will not be afraid of doctors and seek out medical examination when I need it. I will promote good mental health because it's important to me. I deserve to be happy. Public health priorities. Life expectancy is stalling and health inequalities are widening. After a century of increases, the decades prior to COVID-19 pandemic saw improvement in life expectancy amongst the UK population stall. For some, these improvements went into reverse. Between 2010 and 2012 and 2016 and 2018, life expectancy among women living in the most deprived 10% of areas of England fell, with the largest increases in the northeast. The diseases now most prevalent within the communities include diabetes, high blood pressure, heart conditions, cardiovascular diseases, lung disease, cancers, and obesity. London is United Kingdom's capital city. It is amongst the most cosmopolitan in the world. It possesses all possible extremes, including in wealth, cultural and religious diversities. Professor Kevin Fenton, CBE. Kevin Fenton is the president of the Faculty of Public Health. He's also a senior public health expert and infectious disease epidemiologist who has worked in a variety of public health executive leadership roles across government and academia in the United Kingdom and internationally. His specialist interests are in tackling health inequalities, infectious disease prevention and control, climate justice, and urban health. Professor Fenton is the Regional Director for London in the Office for Health Improvement and Disparities within the Department of Health and Social Care. Within this role, he's also the Statutory Public Health Advisor to the Mayor of London and the Greater London Authority and the Regional Director of Public Health for NHS London. He is also the Government Chief Advisor on HIV and Chair of the HIV Action Plan Implementation Steering Group for England. Professor Kevin Fenton says, I'm a public health director. Here are 5 things you can do to improve your health. 1. Mindful and balanced eating. Nourish wisely. Eat whole, balanced meals with awareness to support energy and well-being. 2. Get outside. Be with nature. Time outside reduces stress, improves mood, and strengthens your connection to the world. 3. Stay curious, stay engaged, explore new interests, keep your mind sharp, build social contacts, and boost your happiness. 4. Get active, move it or lose it. Move daily, lift weight, and do cardio. Exercise, improve physical, mental, mood, and energy. 5. Prioritize rest and sleep. Disconnect, rest. Quality sleep supports mental clarity, emotional balance, and overall health. I choose a healthy lifestyle. I will relax and when possible attend a spa. I will eat healthy food and drink appropriate amount of water each day. I will exercise and maintain fitness. I will not be afraid of doctors and seek out medical examination when I need it. General messages about our lifestyle. I want to commend those who are from different social class, different education, different religious affiliation, but have come together in common aim and common purpose, understanding that their wealth is the highest wealth, and ensuring to protect that, working together is the best way. If you want to go fast and just do it quickly, do it by yourself. If you want to go far and long and sustainable, we do it together. And what I'm really heartened by is the numbers of letters, the number of messages I've received, which says, people, you, the audience, have heard these messages, understand how important they are to you, and have responded. Spoken to your neighbours, spoken to members of your family, spoken to those within your network, and pulled your resources, hired halls, get a trainer in, and you're regularly training together in common aim and common purpose. Your health is your highest wealth. I commend these initiatives to you. And I'm going to show you an example of a group of people who heard the messages, who've come together in common aim and common purpose, because they understand that their health is indeed their highest wealth. If in doubt, always ask questions. I say again, if in doubt, always ask questions. But just watch these people, ordinary men and women, and their children as well, just exercising together. Just only take a few minutes, just watch them. This could be you.
Cheese. Famous. Hello, 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 hello. You get one life on leave. Me self get one life on leave. Why we no go use I'm gladdy and enjoy.
Oh yeah, you see them exercising, huh?
Palava no they finish. Time me no they wait nobody.
They pull their resources, hire a hall, put a trainer up front there.
This one
They exercise together.
we self not nobody own. You want to get
Yep,
you
they're
but we
short.
go down you belly
Some are quite
now you
plump, some
young.
are quite slim.
And the
They
balance when
exercise
you go
together.
die left
Even
now
their
all the
children,
money
they
young. So why for the
Your health is your highest wealth.
Tell the motor car where you let buy 'em. If you see finance where you call it bill 'em, oh. You meet
This
up
is
woman where
fantastic.
you let yarn 'em. And if you let the man na for keep 'em. Want them more. The food where you feel for eat na for eat 'em.
Look at this, huh?
Eat 'em. That fine la
Pull
power
their
you let na for
resources.
buy 'em.
They exercise together.
If you baby love you,
Regulate.
you back love 'em. But if you love them all now, you not for left 'em. Want them more, cause nobody know. Nobody
enjoying
know what
themselves.
tomorrow. So every day of my life,
They're
yeah,
enjoying themselves.
fasting, enjoyment, they go. Now for land, for care for yourself. Nobody love you, pass
Unity
yourself.
is strength.
All man, they fed for himself. Oh.
In
Now why I know they
unity
allowed with you,
is
other man, they
strength.
can't take me peace away. Me joy away. Me smile away.
What would we people? What would we people?
Nobody take your peace away.
You see their children there with them.
Me joy away.
Oh,
Me smile
they
away.
inculcate the ideas of staying fit as a child. Take that habit
Every day,
into their adulthood.
I see they hustle, they
Get
work
them
on
young,
the pay.
get
They
them
like
young.
na boku on a small you dey catch. Land for the loose body 110. No to money, no to gently. No money make more
We are saving
As
lives
long
today.
As you get waiting, you dey eat.
Transform
Land
your
for the
life
loose
to
body
save your life.
110.
Longer, healthier life.
Nobody
There you
young.
are.
You want to eat what you want, we go down your belly, now you young.
Is this happening in your
Balance where you
neighborhood?
go die left na all the money young. So why for the greedy you say for?
Oh,
Tell the motor car where you let buy 'em. If you see finance where you call it bill 'em. Oh. You meet up woman where you let yarn 'em. And if you let the man na for keep 'em.
Tremendous, huh? Is it
The food
tremendous?
where you feel for eat na for
Sure,
eat
this is
'em.
happening in your neighborhood.
That fine la power
not,
you let na
step
for
one
buy
out.
'em. And
Ask your friends, ask
and
your
if you
neighbours,
really love you back love 'em.
Let's do exercise together.
But if you love them all now, you not for
Think about
left
the
'em.
food we're
Want
consuming.
them more, cause nobody know what in tomorrow all. So every day of my life they are all. I fasting and enjoyment stay go. Now
You
for
make
land
the
for care
difference.
for yourself.
You
Nobody
are the
love
change
you pass
maker.
yourself. All man they fed for himself. Oh. Now why I know they
Tremendous,
allowed with you other
tremendous.
man they can't take me peace away. Me joy away.
This is all the people
Me smile away.
come together in common aim and common purpose. Your health is indeed our highest wealth.
Me smile away. Oh no no.
Well done, Israel. He's got it there. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I'll stop that there. I'll stop it there. I think you would agree that an example of the community working together, common aim and common purpose, understanding our health is the highest wealth. Yeah. No matter what we say in this podcast, your health is indeed your highest wealth, and to aspire to maintain good, healthy lifestyle, aspire to be fit and healthy. Think about the food that you're consuming, maintaining good mental health, and if in doubt, seek out professional advice. And of course, take care of our spiritual health. It's absolutely right. And if you're in London, and indeed if you're in South London, why not look them up? They're a wonderful group of people. I'm assuring you, I've visited them. They are a wonderful group of people who've come together in common aim, common purpose. They just said, well, they recognise the importance of their health. There they are. If you're in South London in particular, why not pop in and just exercise with them? They're there on Mondays and Wednesdays from 6:30 to 8 p.m. Okay, it's 12 Tatum Street in London. That's S for sugar, E17 1TN. Email address, it's countdown 0405 at gmail.com. I repeat, countdown 0405 at gmail.com. And you can contact them. Just if you want assistance, it's in the UK, it's 07960 803 588. I've got not a problem in commending organizations such as that to you all. Your health is indeed your highest wealth. There you go. There you are. It was important. It's important. FGM is important. Yeah. Windrush was important. And your health is critically important, of critical importance. Absolutely. Now it's time to go to and focus on the theme for today's podcast. Okay. It's an important one, but it addresses one of the fundamental pillars that underscores and supports any community, our ability to create wealth. Okay? Nurturing wealth creators is a critical part of the sustainability of any community. Okay? Failure to do so would ensure that you're always consumers, not wealth creators. And what I'm heartened by is the numbers of people, young and middle-aged and mature, who are starting up their own businesses after going through a period of preparation, starting up their own businesses, and have been successful. And being successful. You recall a few months ago we had here in these studios both Dr. Carlton Brown, okay, and before that we had Nicola Middleton as well. Nicola's going to join us today. She will join us today. And addressing, of course, the 2025 UK Black Business Entrepreneurs Conference and the success that it's likely to be. Okay. And all the other add-ons that this conference follows with. Do you recall earlier this year, we addressed the master classes that they had hosted. Successful master classes. I'd sent a number of my locals here, and they found the experience positively enjoyable and truly informative and truly an empowering experience. Okay. Today's podcast will be in the same theme. You'll be provided with information that you can use to transform your life. But I say to people, don't be selfish. Share knowledge, share wealth. And I'm assuring you, it will rebound back to you many times over. Okay, so let's see. Let's get this podcast on the way, because I'm feeling that these business types are always on time. African time is the most precise time in the world. Forgive me, but those of you from Switzerland, I get it. But African time is the most precise time in the world. Yes, No, I just heard you. No, yes, it is. So we are the ultimate and consummate professionals. Okay. Let's see if she's in my green room. We'll get Nicola in, and we're going to get this interview underway. There's much to catch up on and to learn from her. She's truly an inspired human being. Let's see if we can get her into the green room now. It'd be wonderful if we can do it the first time. Let's see if it works. Okay, I think she might be there. Oh, I think she's preparing herself. I'm going to bring her into the live stream now, I believe. Here we go. Let's see if it works first time. There we go.
Of course it's going to work first time, Martin.
Oh, of course. That certainty I respect. Okay. Can you see and hear me well? Can you? Yep.
I can see and hear you well. Yes, I can.
Excellent, excellent. You're looking magnificent, if I may say so. You're looking magnificent.
Thank you. I prepared myself since last night, drinking my water and getting myself ready.
Absolutely. You understand why I include in every podcast these lifestyle messages, just to ensure those messages resonate with the audience. You understand that, don't you?
100%. Our health is definitely indeed our greatest wealth, and without it, we can't function to do all the things that I'm going to discuss about and the things that you discuss about outside of our mental, spiritual, emotional health. Yeah, absolutely.
Well said.
Good morning.
Well said. Good morning to you. A pleasure to see you. Oh, you look magnificent. I'm going to say it for the third time. There you go. All right. Let me go right into this, shall I? Before I become distracted. Oh, come on, Martin. Here we go. Nicola, it's a pleasure to speak to you again. It is truly a pleasure. Okay. And there's much we want to share today with the audience. But I've got my opening question to you, and you don't mind. I'm just going to ask you, I know you very well, and I know some of my audience know you, but I want you just to say your name, the organization that you represent, but I want you to conclude, if you don't mind, to share with us who's the most inspired person in your life and has shaped you to be the woman you are today. Go ahead. Your name and organization first. Go ahead.
So my name is Nicola Millington, and I am grateful and thankful that I'm here today to speak on behalf of the UK Black Business Entrepreneurs Conference, which was founded by Dr. Carlton Brown by a report he wrote delivered in 2021, looking at the economic disparity in the Black economic space. So to keep concise and keep to your point, the person that has influenced me. So for anyone that doesn't know who I am, actually the world doesn't know who I am, but for those who know who I am, you've probably heard this before. I am a child of Guyanese parentage, and I had the fortunate pleasure of living in Guyana from the age of 8 to the age of 14.
Yes.
And in my ecosystem, I met the most important person of my entire life, the person that God put in this world to guide me, and that was my grandmother.
Oh, yes.
And her relationship with myself was shaped who I became today. They call me the child that she never gave birth to, because wherever she was, I was.
Yes,
in physical spaces as well as spiritual and emotional spaces. And to solidify that, when I was back in the UK when she died, but when we got the announcement that she wasn't well, I flew over and she died in my arms. And so I have had the privilege of being around this woman for all of my life, and past and present. So yes, my grandmother.
Good for you. Good for you. She sounds a tremendous person. A tremendous person. Let's ask you. You described her, but what difference did she make for you? You said that she most certainly inspired. Give us the description, because I found that each time I ask this question to my guest and I speak to the audience, they're always very inquisitive, okay, to understand how did that inspiration shape you and motivate you? Because this is very much the motivator show, you see. How did she motivate you?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone in life, if you're open to it, if you're spiritually aligned with it, if you have the opportunity to it, everyone in life needs someone that can see
Yes.
them and love them through their
Yes.
worst and best times. And my
Yes.
grandmother was that person for me. And it's
Yes.
interesting when you said she sounds like a formidable person. The one thing I would be very clear about is the formidable nature of any hero or person that you hold high in your life does not make them perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So my relationship with her is very personal
Yes.
relationship. But what
Yes.
she gave me was the ability and the courage to be me
Mhm.
and to be vocal, to be strong,
Yes.
to be resolute,
Yes. Yes.
to believe in my own conviction.
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
whether it was outlandish to the rest of the world or whether it was something that everybody else could see make sense out of, she was there always to underpin that she believed in
Yes.
me.
Well said. I'm clapping her. I'm clapping her. Yep. Oh, I'm clapping her. Absolutely. Yep. We are privileged. You are her successor. I'm clapping her. Appreciation to her.
Thank you.
Appreciation to her. Oh yeah, okay. And that's poignant, because I know that many of the audience want to understand what is the source for inspiration. Because there are many, as you know, who don't have those advantages. Yep. And what you're providing them is
Mm,
an insight. An insight. Because that's, if you're in business,
yeah,
you need self-conviction, huh? Yeah. You need a resoluteness
absolutely.
that is unusual at times. Focus, being focused is another requirement. Yeah? Being honest, I always suggest, is an absolute, of
Mm,
course. Okay, being caring, I say, is also absolutely. Although business is quite ruthless at times. Okay, and our
yeah.
customers are utterly ruthless. If you're not providing the service, the product that they want, they will simply walk away. Yeah, there you are. Yeah, there you are. So let's get
Absolutely,
into that.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah, let's get into this, because this is going to be really interesting. Okay. So, of course, first of all, we want to
yeah.
thank you for returning to us for the second time. But I want to focus, for obvious reasons,
No
on the
problem.
UK Black Business Entrepreneur Conference. Okay. I'm just going to go back to the beginning to help those
Mhm.
who didn't watch the original podcast with yourself and with Dr. Carton. When did that conference start, and what was its purpose, or is its purpose, I should say?
Okay, so around COVID time, we had the conversation about access to finance, access to equity, equality, and Dr. Carlton Brown looked at the space of, at the time, it was labeled BAME, Black,
Mm.
Asian, ethnic minority, whatever they were calling it at
Yes.
the time.
Although,
And
if I may, Nicola,
he was,
if I may, Nicola, and that's very much a British term, a UK terminology to denote those who are not white. Okay, even though those who are not white
yes,
actually form the global majority population. Okay, that's what just emphasize that. It's a terminology for those
exactly.
of you overseas. We refer to minorities here, but actually we represent the global majority. By the way, go ahead, Nicola. I interrupted.
Majority.
Mm,
No, no, no. Please,
mm,
let's. This is a
mm.
conversation that I'm enjoying. So no, let's do this.
Okay.
So yes, they were lumping everything under the BAME, and they were looking at a range of.
Yes, sorry
Is that
about that.
better?
Yes. And your picture is better as well. There you are. That's
Oh,
better. Yeah.
brilliant,
Yes.
brilliant.
Yes.
I was
Because
wondering. I was like, okay, okay. I'll start
it's
again.
not a
My name is
problem.
Nick. No, I'm joking. So
The conference. Yeah.
yes, so yeah, so basically in 2020, Dr. Carton Brown started to look at in the specifically around the access to the supply chain. So for those who don't know, supply chain would be access to any marketplace and how we get equity into those marketplaces. So let's say, for instance, how do we access finance? How do we access our foods getting onto, if you're a business owner, foods getting onto the shelves in retail spaces? how to access contracts for the big CBRE or any big organization. How do small businesses, whether you're a toilet cleaner, whether you're a PR person, whether you're a I don't know, consultant, how do you access those opportunities? So he looked at that specifically. And in looking at that, he revealed or statistics, because he's a data person, he's an academic, a business academic. So he's not honorary doctorate. He studied this. This is his area of expertise, business. And in so doing, he revealed a number of disparities with regards to accessing for specifically the Black market. So he looked at a number of pillars of changes that need to take place to ensure. So some of the changes would include things like looking at the application process for businesses when it comes to what are the markers they ask for, what do the Black community have, and how do we access and change those. The other one would be things like how we interact with finance. So many African and Caribbean cultures don't believe in talking in finance in the same way Westernized cultures speak of finance. So look at those two disparities and how we intersect those, bring it together in a better way to ensure that actually we are not penalized because we have a cultural behavior, habit, but also Westernized institutions, British institutions specifically, are not penalizing themselves by not including the diverse workplace they need to have and diverse supply chain they need to have.
All right. Now, there's a lot in there, okay? And I know from experience that the majority of my audience haven't quite understood it, okay? So it's okay, don't worry. This is my role. This is my role. So I'm just going to go back to the beginning in terms of the purpose and this identifying. So the first what I heard was that Dr. Carlton had conducted research to understand what if I use the word barriers to entry into business, okay, and can you just describe some of those barriers first of all that might have existed, then we did take it one stage at a time. I want to make sure this time the audience understands. So, what are those barriers? He identified barriers. Let's summarize those barriers very quickly for us. Yeah.
So barriers included access to finance.
Okay, so and just to be clear, so just for the audience, so we're saying finance, and this is being able to raise capital or resources to either start a business or develop your existing businesses. This is therefore access to banks or financial institutions. Okay, and I'm assuming you're Yep. Okay. Good. Okay.
And also just educating people also in that access to finance, things that look at venture capital, which is funding via very specific routes, but funding that businesses need to understand to scale and grow.
Absolutely. Can I just add in there, and having, as you know, have some role here in my own locality in encouraging entrepreneurship. Another source of finance I've discovered is one that is generally not tapped into. And the presumption is that the African communities, Black community, if you like, are relatively modest and poor. But actually, we have enormous assets and significant wealth within the community. And indeed, I've been encouraging those with great wealth to take up share interest in startup businesses. And it has been a significant growth area, particularly in my part of South London, at least. Okay, I did put that on the table for you. So that's, anyway, so we're addressing the issue of capital and access to capital. The next barrier, what is the next barrier?
The next barrier will include access to what we classify as the supply chain. So how do you get into contracts? How do you understand who are the right people? What time of the year you need to be applying? What what's the word? Checks and balances people need to comply, to be able to access those opportunities, and then making sure that you can fulfill those to get to the point where you can become a delivery partner, someone that can offer a service or a product to a big corporation, for instance.
Okay, so there's again a lot packed into that particular statement. You're referring to maybe a medium-sized business interacting with maybe a large grocery chain, for example. Okay,
Exactly.
and understanding the steps in which you first of all identify what that chain needs, and secondly, who to contact, how to contact them, the mediums to use. That I
Yes.
understand. And
Yeah.
similarly, of course, you could be wanting to get onto a local authority or government procurement list, and therefore have the opportunity to bid for contracts from
Mhm.
that local authority. That's
Mhm.
yet another route. Okay. Um,
Yes.
we're not, we don't have time on this podcast to detail those two paths in detail, but what we're doing is highlighting the paths that are there are opportunities for those in business that they can take. Okay, okay. What's the
Yes.
third access barrier?
The other one is more sensory, if you want. It's about
Hmm.
perception. That was
Yes,
a massive one.
yes.
Perception that, let's take, for instance, and I'm just going to follow your lead, Martin. Let's just take, for instance, you've worked in a big corporation, you've
Hmm.
been successful in your
Hmm.
job, whether you
Yep.
are the head receptionist, let's say, or director of in the
Or director in
C-suite.
my case, so definitely a director.
C-suite, it doesn't really matter, regardless of where you were, and
Yes,
you decide
yes.
that one week you got very good relationship with an
Yeah.
organization, a business, you got really good credit with them, you got what we call social capital with them, you know them, they trust you, you trust them, and then let's say a few weeks later you decide to leave and start your
Hmm.
own business.
Hmm.
Perception is you are not capable anymore
Hmm.
about being able to provide the service that you were able to provide when you were in the infrastructure of a large corporation as a C-suite director. And changing that perception, talking about narrative storytelling, making sure that actually you position yourself correctly so that perception of delivery is always seen from a positive limelight. I remember,
Yes.
for instance, you know, people say, for instance, black people don't turn up on time, and I'm
Ah,
always like, that's not necessarily true. That's
mm,
not a truism, right? So it's about actually changing that perception so that when
absolutely.
you do turn up, they know that you're professional, they know that you can deliver, your products and services are on point, your checks and balances are on point. But that perception piece is crucial. It's
Yes.
absolutely crucial in the mix of. So those are three of, I think, something like 13 points.
Yes, I think that's just to add to that one, because of, you may have heard just prior to your bringing into the live stream, I pointed out that this is African time. You were on time. In fact, you were before time. I emphasize, and I express due respect to the people of Switzerland, of course, but nevertheless,
Mm.
African time is the original time, and we are
Yeah,
absolutely precise. Any
yeah,
suggestion that we would turn up late is really some slovenly activity which is not African time. It's
yes,
actually alien to us. And you're right. Changing that perception is important. It's important. The perceptions, of course, that now that you are an independent, can you deliver the quality service that this organization requires? You are right. You might want to add into that about these interpersonal relationships and how to build strong, lasting interpersonal relationship. What do you say about that? Because business is very much, I've found, to do with who you know and who they feel comfortable with. Would I be right in saying that?
no, 100%. So one of the areas is learning about the importance of what we call social capital. And social capital is the connections that we have with one person that can connect you with another person in a very
Yes,
simple way. So, for
yes,
instance, the conference, which we will come on to, I know,
yes,
gives people the opportunity to develop, leverage their social capital because they're in the room. They may know me, they may know you, they may know Dr. Carlton, but I can introduce someone to another person. It's almost like Chinese whispers, if you want, in a more
that's right.
business environment.
Yes,
And
networking.
through
It's networking.
It's networking.
Mm,
So
mhm.
through that networking, through those opportunities, we're able to leverage and recommend other people in social spaces. An example would be at the conference, someone turned up, they were introduced to Amazon, and through their relationship with Amazon, they were able to get a contract. Another
Yes,
example would be someone will speak to me. Someone will speak to me. I know someone on a radio station. Next week, their business is being interviewed on a radio station.
that's right.
This
Yes,
is an
yes,
example of social capital because if I kept pitching to you about the BBEC, that's one thing,
mm,
but Dr. Carlton makes the introduction. You get to meet me, the confidence builds. That's how social
yes,
capital is built.
Yes.
And
Yes.
area that I focus on from my perspective is what we call the proverbial black book. In older dead generations, we used to have this book that we used to write everything down
That's
in.
right.
I think relearning those skills is going to be key moving forward, because technology is great, but how do you stay connect with people is going to be continuously important. As they say,
Absolutely
people
right.
do business with people.
That's right. Well said. Well said. And I never made just to do this just for a further follow up on this one. This is such an important one. I've come across persons who are sort of nerdy types or a bit shy, but within their area of competency, they shine. Okay. Um, what advice would you give such a person who's nerdy, a bit shy, but they are very competent? What would you say to them, someone with that profile? You've
So
come across three of them, I'm sure.
So I think learning the dynamics of different ways of communication is very
Yeah.
key. Some people are audible, some people are written. We
Yes.
communicate in different ways.
Yes.
Equally, types of learning and experience of communication is going to be key. So we will
Yes.
classify what you've just described. If I was to package it as
Mhm.
introversion, right?
Indeed. Yes.
Right? We'll class, and we think of the world very as an extrovert world.
Mhm.
Where you derive your energy from loud, outspoken spaces, where some people derive their energy from internalized, more quieter spaces.
Yes. Yeah.
However, I have learned over the last few years, and there's a woman called Carol Stewart who really focuses on introversion in corporate spaces and how we learn to pay attention and listen to people in
Mm-hmm.
introvert spaces. So
Yes.
it's learning that actually, regardless of where you sit on the spectrum, not allowing your voice to be marginalized, shrunk down,
Mm-hmm.
finding ways to communicate, but also
Mm-hmm.
finding advocates in those rooms. So I'm very much a person, if you're in a space, let's say we're networking again, and we're in a space and you're speaking to someone, you see someone hovering around quite quiet on their mobile phones.
Yes.
I'm very
Yes.
much an advocate for inviting them to join me into the conversation.
Right. Right.
So being proactive into that,
Mm-hmm.
if they want to, they join. If they don't want to, they'll say, "Oh, I'm busy," or "I'm doing." That's fine. But giving people
Mm-hmm.
the space to be able
Yes.
to join in and interact is important.
Okay. Okay. I want to go on to my next question, but it's still interlinked with the original question. Which of these various sectors are black businesses primarily focused? Which are the sectors that we typically find ourselves, and what advice would you give us, both in terms of the current sectors and indeed prospective sectors that we should explore and should have a presence in? What would you recommend?
So the
Mhm.
conference, I want to start there, was
Yes,
founded
please. Yes.
primarily on what we call fast-moving consumer goods,
Yeah.
FMCG, products and
Yes.
services. So hair creams, food and drink,
Hmm.
services that actually you can take and put into a store, a product you can take into put into the store. That's the strength of where the foundation of the conference was
Hmm.
founded. So,
Right.
which meant that a lot of the products, so we find people doing shea butter products for
Yes.
hair,
Yes.
skin,
Yes.
and beauty.
Yes. Yes.
Um, menopause
Yes.
sector as well. So health and
Yes.
well-being in a lot of areas you'd find
Hmm.
remedies, skin creams, that kind of
Hmm.
thing.
Right.
Food and drink. So
Yes.
things like pepper sauces, a lot of jerks, a lot of you
Hmm.
know flavors from the Caribbean, from Africa,
Yes. Yes.
which would be brought into the marketplace. Some of the sweets, some of the like plantain chips, those kind of things. So
Hmm. Hmm.
FMCG, food and drinks that fit within the demographic would be the
Right.
primary area that the conference is focused on. Now,
Mm. Mm.
I caveat that by saying that we are aware that the spectrum of offering from the diaspora is as broad as
Yes.
the spectrum across all
Absolutely.
sectors, right? So we
Yes.
have scientists, we have medical, we have communications, we have technology, we have construction, we've had a
Right.
conference. So we have them across all sector. But your question was about typical. I'm going to say, because of the work we do with the conference, food, drink, skincare, hair, beauty, consumer products, consumer
Right.
products.
Right. So that's interesting, and just to be quite clear, then. So these are the sort of core areas, and are these the core areas because it's easier to solicit a sort of black following or African following for those products, or is simply that we have a particular skills and innate abilities in these sectors? What's your experience in these matters?
So my experience can only be derived really because I'm a service-based business myself, but my experience can derive only primarily through the work I do with Dr. Carlton Brown. And what we've found within that space through Nielsen's report, so Nielsen's is like a research paper, McKinsey's research, is actually showing that actually there's a fast growth rate with regards to bringing African and Caribbean source products to westernized marketplaces.
Right.
I remember growing up as a child, I would use a lot of coconut oil.
Yes.
And coconut oil, when I was growing up as a child, was seen to be very poor, very people will call it a quite rancid because it had a very high smell. And it wasn't accepted equally in, let's say, early 2000s, late 90s, as it is now. And so what we found is that the discovery, and I am going to say that discovery of all these products has suddenly become valuable to a Western society. Well, we've known from people like, the work of Dr. Sebi and others who have really advocated the well-being of and the power of these products in their natural form in across our world, how we eat, how we drink, the things that you're talking about earlier on. So I would say definitely in regards to why it's grown, it's not necessarily just because it's natural to us, but also because we are developing the understanding of what it means to leverage those products and value those products in a Western society. Because let's be totally honest, we are entrepreneurs from Africa. We are my grandmother and my aunts and uncles and my family around me and extended community ran businesses, whether it's on the street side corner or under their houses. They ran businesses. We're not new to entrepreneurship. It's just the formalization of entrepreneurship in a Western world.
Yes. Interesting. So, with that in mind, is the observation that the founders of these businesses want to work by themselves, or are they generally open to wanting to collaborate with other founders so they can get a benefit of economies of scale and spreading the burden of running a business? What tend to be the psychology of the typical founders that you encounter?
Well, I don't remember the percentage, but the largest percentage of small African and Caribbean businesses, I'm going to say African, I'm going to just say African at the end of it.
Thank you.
African,
Yes.
African businesses,
Yes.
the large percent of African businesses turn over on average 25 to 28,000 pounds a year, which is not sustainable. But that's because actually we don't have the opportunities and access to finance in the same way. We think of bootstrapping our businesses, which bootstrapping is mainly financing your business yourself, whether you have a side hustle or it's a hobby that you want to turn into a business. What the conference and what the work that we are doing is educating people in understanding how to scale your business. And collaboration comes with one other aspect, which is key, and that's trust.
Yes.
Trust amongst ourselves. And recognizing that actually there's a skill of understanding that when we trust each other and we learn to leverage the skills interconnected in an interconnected way, we can grow faster. And you mentioned it earlier, if you want to go fast, go on your own. If you want to go far, go together. And it's so true. So learning how to collaborate and work together is absolutely key.
Yes.
And as Dr. Carton always says, one hand can't clap.
There you are. In unity is strength. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so you and I would see this as being common sense, okay? But I found that common sense is not always that common. Okay? tell us then. Give us some insights. I've read an interesting article about the conference at the your particular conference is seen as being amongst the most professional, most impactful of all the UK conferences. Therefore, you have a good pedigree, but I'm not sure what they're judging that against. You see, so my question, going back to the issue of collaboration, being able to work in partnership with someone and establishing those trust. If if you were introducing two founders for the first time who were in the same sector, and I know we've not thought about this question prior, but I know you're able. What would you say to them in terms of bringing them together? What are they? What do they have in common that you'd use as a means to suggest to them working together is better than they're going their separate ways? What would you recommend? Yeah.
So I'm going to give a short story time to
Of course.
explain the answer that question. So Dr. Carton Brown, he runs a brand called Marshall and Brown,
Oh yes.
which is and jerk sauces, which is a condiments business, rum cakes as well, and rums, and from the sourcing
I've
of
tasted
Jamaica.
some. I've tasted some. I tell you,
I've tasted a
people.
few, but I've tasted a few, Martin. I tasted a few.
I interrupt, please.
No worries. So in the midst of building his business,
Yeah.
I came across another brand that does something very, very similar to Dr.
Yes.
Carton.
Yes.
And there was an event taking place at the Jamaican High Commission.
Hmm.
And they're very similar. They're not the same, but very similar in product range. And in so doing, are we good for connection? Are we good?
We are. Yeah, I'm just checking it now. We can hear you fine. Apparently, anyway, you keep going. We'll resolve it in the background. Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
cool. In the building that there was an event taking place at the Jamaican High Commission,
Mhm.
and while the new client that came to me said she wanted to be at the Jamaican High Commission as well, so I introduced her to Dr. Carton Brown. They're doing very similar products, and he got her into the Jamaican High Commission, and they were displaying their products and services together at the Jamaican High Commission. When we now, Dr. Carton Brown is doing well in Selfridges and other retail outlets. This young lady is soon to be in a very big retail outlet herself. Does one take away from the other? Absolutely not. Let's look at all of the soap powders out there, all of the different kinds of rices out there, all the different kinds of milks out there, juices, patties out there. There is a place for coexistence in the shelf. And I do know of various Sunrise Bakery. I had just the absolute pleasure to meet Errol Drummond a few months
Yes.
ago. I was in tears when I heard the story of how himself and a number of Caribbean business owners came over and worked together.
That's right.
Worked
That's right.
together to build.
That's right.
And these are stories that are not told or heard.
Indeed.
And that for me is that's for me is the pain that we're not hearing them, because they're so inspirational. They're just so inspirational. And so when we are talking about building and collaborating together, we are doing ourselves a disservice, not just financially or even business. Actually, it's not in our nature.
You're quite
It's
right.
not in our
You're
nature.
quite right. You're quite right.
It takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to build a business.
And I was going to say that you're quite right, and it is a concept that some of our family lines have forgotten. Only in collaboration you could make genuine growth. You could do it by yourself, but actually, if we collaborate, we're more than likely to succeed. We're spreading the burden, and as you say, as Dr. Card would say, it takes two hands to clap. Okay, and that's how we make the real noise. So
Yeah.
there's no doubt you are correct. In setting this scene and noting the conference and its advantages, okay. What I want to do now is just move on to another aspect of my questions for you. And I know that in preparing for this show, I had to look at various stats, okay, and all the stats suggest that our communities, the African communities, whether from the continent or from the Caribbean or other places, there's growth, genuine growth. Okay, we're a relatively young community. There's genuine growth anticipated. Okay, but we are still missing too many opportunities. Okay, and so this your conference is an important one. Okay, but I'm very conscious, though, in my other public roles, we think about the jobs of the future. Okay, and I'm very conscious 'cause we're using this social media platform, for example. Okay, and it's a proliferation of social media platforms. And more recently, we use the term AI or artificial intelligence. Okay, now I haven't spoken to quite a number, and I've had guests really specifically on this subject. But how is the advent of artificial intelligence impacting the types of new businesses, startups within our community, or is it not having an effect at all? Let's give you some idea of your experience to date.
That was one of the like the hardest questions
Oh,
to
okay,
really answer, if I'm totally honest with you.
right.
The the reason that it's challenging to answer the question is because we need the data of understanding how the businesses are evolving in this
Yes,
space across the different range of sectors, because each in this individual sector is going through their own individual challenges around
they
this
are.
space.
Yes.
Let's take, for instance, the creative space. There's a lot of legal battles going on currently in regards to ownership of content, what
Yes.
constitutes ownership of contents, where the origination of content comes from. That's one.
Hmm.
Whereas if, for instance, you're looking at construction, which I don't know that much about, or finance would be probably better.
Hmm.
Finance, for instance, how do you ensure that the data that you're providing is legitimate and can be ratified in real terms for a
Hmm.
business? Now, I'm
Hmm.
going to caveat this. This is a personal, this is not a BBC
Okay.
bit, but
We
this
won't
is a
hold
Nick.
you to it. We will not hold you to it. Go
I don't
ahead.
mind if you hold me, but I want to clarify that.
Okay.
um,
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna clarify. I'm a little bit of a rebel when it comes to spaces like this, and the reason I am is because I fundamentally believe that rules don't always apply equally
Okay.
in any of these evolutional spaces, right?
Hmm.
So when
Hmm.
we're looking at something like AI, we have to currently, as we stand, AI is created by a set of people who get access to our information, and they have set codes and algorithms that read it in a very specific way. We have to be clear about that. It is not always uniquely aligned. So, for instance, if I was to put in the word yam,
Hmm.
what comes out if chat GPT put in the word yam, what comes out could be anything but the veg,
Hmm.
right?
Okay.
So you question yourself, why is that the case? That's because actually we are not controlling, we haven't built up the asset base that allows that our narrative is equal to the narrative of the system that's being
Okay.
created.
Okay. Can I
I
help
know
you
it's
then on
probably
this one? On this
yeah.
question, let me help you on this one. Uh, See, I've had to adapt, you see, sort of
Mhm,
this technology is here and it's adding to my productivity. Okay.
mhm,
For example, this podcast, I have three AIs that is supporting me right now on this podcast. I've got one
mhm,
which is looking at the diagnostics right now, understanding
mhm,
the quality of our signals. The other is qualifying whether or not the question I've just asked you was clear enough. And so I've
mhm.
been asking a follow-up question. Yep, it's another brain to help assisting me right now.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
there's another one, which is part of my creative team. And it is a member of my creative team, which supports the imagery that attached to this podcast. Okay.
Mhm,
With my other hat, it helps me in my public life to better
mhm,
understand the issues that I have to tackle. It can both explain it both in written and audio form in a manner that is far more receptive for me to absorb. And in business, of course, AI is being critical, and this is the downside to it. Possibly that it's what it's doing is those mundane tasks are now being automated. Okay. And for example, one's accounting effectively, as you enter the figures, you're effectively arriving at a trial balance on a monthly basis, in effect. You know? So,
Yeah.
in other words, the technology is adding value, it's improving your overall efficiency as business founders, business directors, and managers. Okay. So you're right about the data interpretation, and the YAM is a good example, and I could cite a few others. That's absolutely right. But operationally speaking, I've come across youngsters aged 19 who've become a millionaire utilizing AI. Yeah, I'm going to have you on this podcast in a few weeks' time. It will be
Yeah, yeah,
here.
yeah.
Demonstrate. Yeah, go ahead. Respond.
Yeah, I should caveat and say that I'm not taking away. Actually, I think it's helping us to equal out some of the labor that a lot of
Mhm,
black businesses used to
mhm,
do
mhm.
before, like, how to write a blog post, for instance, or whatever your
Yes.
thing. It speeds
Yes.
up that process. I'm not taking away from that at all.
Mhm,
But what I want to add to the conversation, and is the thing I speak of, is let's not only
mhm.
recognize that the power of it takes away from who we are as African people.
Ooh, I like that.
We need to
Say
bring
more.
ourselves we need to
Say
bring
more about
ourselves
that.
we need to bring ourselves to the space
Mhm,
in we bring a value that has been always not always been has been underestimated. So
mhm.
for instance, we have a way of, again, please excuse me, we broad context,
Yes.
right, of
Uh-huh.
the African diaspora across the board, have a
Yes.
way of how we communicate and see the world, which
Yes.
will could be of more advantage to a society. For instance, how we can work together, how we collaborate together, is to me a classic example when we do it well, and we are far stronger when we do it well. I was reading an article today
Mhm.
about and was the about the African economics transformation leaders, where you got
Yes.
the Ethiopian, the Zambian, like a number of them coming together now to work
Yes.
together. I think it will bring a different landscape to the world of economics that's different from a Western society. So I'm saying
Absolutely.
it's learning the art of actually we don't have to transform ourselves into Western people
Mhm,
to
mhm.
become efficient and highly advantaged in an AI space. We can bring
Exactly.
ourselves, that's what I really want to say. And a good example of
Absolutely.
that in a more rudimentary way was when Nkrumah came to, I think it was the UK, when Ghana got their independence, and he wore his African
Absolutely. Yes.
um, that's what I mean psychologically. We
I
do not have to conform to be the great leaders and the great experts. We are anyway. We know we are. We're now bringing it to a Western society way, right? That's all we're
mhm.
doing. So
I,
that's
I,
what I'm saying.
I've got it, I've got it. In other words, what we need are African-centered large language models upon which is the foundation for an AI intelligence. Okay. Um,
Absolutely.
I am surprised. I have to say to my people generally, I'm surprised. I'm finding it difficult to find an African-centered large language model upon which to develop my own the AI agents, which is what I use here in the studio. I am surprised that they are few and far between. Now I've said it, I hope that might stimulate a few of those geniuses in the community to put them together. But we are waiting for you to do so, please, entrepreneurs, business founders, creators. We need it. We need it. Okay, because your Nicholas 100% correct that we need African-centered large language models, which are the basis for these AI intelligence. So well said you, my gosh. You should have many children around you, my dear, let them learn from you, oh my gosh, let them learn from you. But
Thank you.
but artificial intelligence or AI and all the accompanying technologies are now and into the future will be the cornerstones of the wealth creation. That
Yeah.
is that is the direction of travel, and we must adapt. Okay, I
Yeah.
say to people, we must adapt. Not we should. We must adapt to the to this prevailing environment. Okay.
Yeah.
my next very quick question, and we've got about 15, 20 minutes now. Now, Britain is a mature market with more than 1 million businesses. Okay, should the motivator audience consider Africa and the Caribbean as potential growth markets for their businesses?
Well,
What
I'm
say
going.
you?
I'm going. I don't know about anybody else, but I,
She's going. Oh Lord, hey, hey.
so absolutely, absolutely.
Yes.
The landscape is demonstrating, and what we're seeing across the globe is demonstrating that actually Africa as a continent, not one specific country, the continent
Indeed.
is
Yes.
becoming a little bit more. No, I shouldn't say a little bit more. They're becoming more deliberate about ensuring that we have spaces
Yeah. Okay.
for the growth that we need. There are certain, we cannot deny, there are certain infrastructure barriers
Yes.
that take place.
Yes.
There are
Yes.
still certain colonial barriers that are taking
Yes.
place, that take place,
Yes.
that are being dealt with. As I said before, I'm a child of Guyanese parentage. We have just hit, well, depends where you sit, but anyway, Guyana has just hit upon a lot of oil, which
Oil.
is making it a
Yes.
very
Yes.
fruitful land.
Yes.
So we have to be aware of that. We are concerned, we are focusing a lot about the Western world, but we need to also pay attention to what the Eastern world is doing. So we are seeing a lot of China and the Eastern countries infiltrating those spaces. We need to pay
Yes.
attention to that. Lines like
Yes.
actually with what you're talking about AI as well as manpower and finances in those spaces. Actually, if you look at the Eastern world holistically, a lot of what they've done over the centuries is going to impact Africa far
Yes.
more than probably the Western world,
Yes.
because we have the landmass, we have the space that they're looking for to thrive, because they're outstretching and they're dying as a race as well. So we know what's going on across the board. But with regards to opportunities, things like interconnection of travel across certain countries of Africa is beginning to
Yes.
become more connected. Lifting
Yes.
of visas, access to those
Absolutely.
opportunities as well,
Yes.
knowing that
Yes.
actually if you're from Jamaica, you can have access to certain parts of Africa,
Africa.
Ghana maybe,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
etc. Also
Yes.
looking at actually the landscape of the biggest marketing country in the world, America, that the African diaspora over there no longer just African Americans by color, but the African Americans, as in they are repatriating over to
Absolutely.
certain parts of Africa and claiming it.
Yes.
If
Yes.
you look at
Yes.
organizations like InvestFest, which is a massive American movement in regards to investment, underpinned by Steve Harvey and others, they are definitely driving. We knew about 5-10 years ago there was this whole thing, the repatriation to Ghana, the
That's
Ghana
right.
movement.
Yes.
So we know it's coming. We know it's happening.
Yes.
But
Yes.
our job is to become deliberate about our focus and making it real. And can I add
Yes.
one thing, Martin, in this
Of
point
course.
for me? Is that actually the audience that are watching on live and on playback, regardless of what age you are, whether you're young and you're intelligent and able to build wealth very quickly, or whether you're older and feel that your life has passed you by, you still have a value in this discussion. And the
Yes.
value is about legacy. The value is
Yes.
about actually understanding that the actions we take today has to impact generations of the future. So
Future. Rastafari.
age is no
Yes.
barrier to
Yes.
this. Age is no
Yes.
barrier. You just have to change your mind and realize that the work you do today
Yes.
is impacting generations to come. If we don't want them to do the things we are doing now, we have to act deliberately in that. So I wanted to make that a point, because so often we think we can't. What do I do? You do from where you are, but you think long term.
Okay.
The word, whatever you say.
Let's follow up with that. I know that the audience will be thinking, well, okay, um, I've got a whole set of qualifications. I have a small business. There's some growth here, but they're looking to Africa, looking to the Caribbean. Are there particular growth areas that you've observed you might wish to share, or not?
Well, I would share if I knew what they were. Like
Okay,
if
right.
I could,
That's all
and I
right.
don't want to share anything just because I feel like it's a right answer.
I
I want to
understand.
share
Thank you.
based on data, and I don't have that data. What I
Okay,
would say,
that's fine.
however, is that each of those individual countries that you're choosing, whether they're homelands or countries that you've just like, have got people from the West, from our community in the UK.
Yes.
That if
Yeah.
you're watching from the UK or Western world that are doing that already, ask them.
Right. Okay.
There's a guy called Mark Dalgety.
Hmm.
He runs
Yes.
Dalgety Teas.
Mm,
He's out in Africa. He's out in
mm,
Ghana, Nigeria.
that's right.
Reach out and speak to him
Yes.
respectfully,
Yes.
respectful of his
Yes.
time, etc. But speak to people like that. That's how we
Yes.
break through.
Well said. Well said. Well said. Well said. And just for the audience, the re-edited version of this interview will have many references, and I'll also seek out authentic sources, identifying countries which are positively encouraging us from diaspora to return to Africa and invest in Africa. There are certain
Yeah.
countries which are definitely taking the initiative, and I'll have that available both in the commentary, and a number would appear on screen as Nicola and myself make references to either Africa or the Caribbean. So the re-edited version will have far more information contained in each of these sequences. So, but Nicola's response is the right response. It is definitely the right response. But the future is Africa. The future is the Caribbean. Okay, and why can we say that with high confidence? Because the age group, Africa and the Caribbean, is a young continent. The Caribbean is a young region. Okay, and there's a lesson from history where you have a concentration of young people with great
Mhm.
potential. You have potential, therefore, for genuine and meaningful economic growth.
Right.
Okay, there you are. All right. So, and a country I might just refer to that I've had them in on a number of occasions, and that's our good friends from Burkina Faso.
Hmm.
And we are organising shortly a visit to Burkina Faso. If we can secure 100 attendees, we are likely to have meetings with very important people in Burkina Faso. Okay,
I don't
in
want
the
to be on
next
that
podcast. Oh yeah! In the next podcast, we'll give you more information. It's been meticulously prepared. It's taken a little while to prepare, I must say, but it's this will happen. And if I say it as the motivator, it will happen. It will happen. There you are. But thank you for that response to that question. In other words, the world is our oyster, but most certainly Africa and the Caribbean offers genuine growth potential for our business founders, the business startup here in the UK for their expansion. Okay,
track.
or indeed you might want to take lock, stock, and barrel and set up your business in one of those countries. But do your research first of all. I think that
Yes.
would be right. Research, preparation is 9/10 of success.
Yes. Yeah.
It's 9/10 of success. Okay. Well, a lot's been said so far, and I might invite you because the 2025 UK Black Business Entrepreneur Conference. I understand, Nicola, you ran out of tickets. You don't have any more tickets. Is that right?
We haven't got a space for a paperclip left.
Oh my gosh!
We are
I hit my
really
head. There you are.
we are really oversubscribed. Like it is. It, like I said, it's one of the I would say it's one of the leading conferences in regards to standard
Okay.
professionalism and pace that we have going on. And yeah, there's
Okay.
no space, Martin. I'm sorry.
Oh, there's no space. Well, so as I said, people, preparation. Maybe we took too long to prepare, and now the tickets have gone. What can we offer the audience? Because clearly, I would encourage the audience to book their tickets for 2026. That's for sure,
Yes.
as early
Yeah.
as possible. What else can we offer the audience? They are clearly interested in this conference. If they're not able to attend, I understand there's not an option to view it online, or will it be
Yeah.
recorded? Just give us some idea. What are the other options for those who are unable to attend because you've run out of tickets?
Yeah. So there's nothing like being in the live space. I take from take that as a given. So on the 28th of June, which is the Saturday after the conference, so the conference is on the 25th, we're going to have what we call a after party.
Oh, right. A
Yeah,
party. I don't
so
mind
it's
a
not
party.
a party as such. It's not a party as such, but it's a space for all the attendees and people who weren't able to attend to attend another event, which is more about networking and putting people in the room of some of the speakers that attended, but also to meet people that you wanted to meet, that you've seen in the room or you heard will be attending, but you can't meet them. And that part will take place in London.
Okay.
And we will confirm that over the next couple of days, where in London, but it will be on the 28th of June.
Okay.
And so anyone that's on the live here, what I'm willing to offer is let's say five free spaces for anyone that just registers, goes onto the BBC website, registers now. I'll see when they register, and then we'll just pull some names out the hat.
Okay. So the website address, and again, on the edited version of this podcast, will be on the screen, but there you go. It is www.thebbec.com. That's
correct.
Right?
That's correct.
So
yeah.
I'll repeat again. It's www.thebbec.com. There you are.
Correct.
Okay. And she's given a public announcement, 5 tickets to the after party, networking event, of course. Okay, thank you for that. At least those who were not able to attend, because you've quite rightly sold out, and that's a testament to your success, can attend on the 28th. Hopefully, by the time we complete the re-editing of this this podcast, you might have the venue confirmed. Hopefully,
yes.
Hopefully,
I'll let you know as soon as hopefully I can find out today, confirm it today.
That's perfect for that. Okay, and a question which has just come up on my screen that I've been asked to ask of you. Is there any plans to organise business and finance advice to those who are in school or universities who have yet to start their working life? Is that a segment of the community that you would are looking to support? Those who've yet to go into work, but therefore still in full-time education, but really want to prepare themselves. They may not wish to work for anyone. They just they want to go straight into business. Now, I've come across some very bright young women, young men, I have to tell you, who are natural entrepreneurs, without a shadow of a doubt. And I wouldn't want them to get spoiled in the world, forgive me, of work. Okay, 9 to 5, who are natural entrepreneurs, and I'm always frustrated that there isn't sufficient support. But this, in fact, is both brother and sister. They're remarkable human beings. Just sent a note. I'm reminded to ask you that question. Is it a segment that you would seek to give support to?
Yeah, so we do masterclasses throughout the year.
Yes.
And that does focus strongly on the access, supply chain and finance more than anything else. And they're smaller, more condensed days. So definitely, again, go to the website, register to join the mailing list so that you can be notified of that. The other thing is also, and this is really something that we had very fortunate this year, there's a number of academics. Well, there's one academic I know for sure that has sponsored tickets, bought tickets himself and sponsored them for people to attend the conference.
Okay.
So these are young people that don't want to go into work. They want to start up with their own business, but don't have the resources to attend the conference, right?
Yes.
So it's Professor Les William Henry, and he purchased a couple of tickets and he ran a competition. Again, get involved with your ecosystem. Get involved in these spaces. We put it out there as much as possible, but I understand, and I appreciate there's a lot of information out there. So sometimes it gets missed above the billboards and everything else, or above the Beyonce tickets. But nonetheless, these are opportunities that are out there. So the masterclasses we run throughout the year. I personally do also workshops at the British Library. So look out for some of those.
Right.
as well. And there's a lot of resources there for that. And then, yeah, get involved in the ecosystem.
Thank you. Again, just for the audience, the re-edited version will have details of Nicola's masterclasses as well. I'd love to
Yes.
give you permission. There's not a problem. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. And indeed, I've made recommendations, local people to myself who've
Mhm.
attended the masterclass. And I'm assuring you, they got a great deal out of those masterclasses. In each case, their businesses are growing. They're
Yeah.
definitely on the growth curve. Okay, so I want to compliment both yourself and Dr. Carlton for those masterclasses. Well done. And for the price, it was, well, very competitively priced. Let me tell you, because the
Thank you.
returns in these businesses has been tremendous. What, £49, I believe it was? Oh my
Something
gosh.
like that. Yeah. Something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
it was extremely good value for money. Extremely good
Yeah.
value for money, which is why I have absolutely not a problem in giving whatever time is necessary for Dr. Carlton or indeed Nicola here so for their work to be publicized, be circulated within the community, because clearly you are having a significant impact on the wider
Thank you.
community. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Nicola, what would be your closing words to the audience?
Just a couple of things I'd like to say.
Of course.
First of all, in regards to, I'd be remiss to say, and I give thanks that you commend myself and Dr. Carlton Brown for this, but understand that this is actually a team. This is a team that Dr. Carlton's brought together. It's a group of us that all bring our expertise, from Karen, who deals with all the admin behind the scenes, that runs her own business, to
Mhm.
Nick, who deals with the VA, the VT team, the video team, all the photography, everything like that. So the first thing is about the collaboration piece. It doesn't come together just because we're the ones that you see. It's a
Yes.
machine that sits together of people that love and believe not only in Dr. Carlton Brown and the vision, but also believe in us.
Yes.
Believe in the
Yes.
potential of us, and every single
Yes.
one of us, to do great things and build lives that make us live the life that we want. So that's the first thing I will definitely say.
Absolutely.
My second and final thing I would say is have courage. Courage to ask,
Yes.
courage to do it, courage
Yes.
to invest in yourself. Do not keep asking, and I mean this with love, free things. Three things. Invest in yourself. There is a
Yes.
way. And
Yes.
investment doesn't also always mean money, it means time, it means your
Yes.
attention. Investment means that actually, if you come there for something, take it, turn up on time, be there, be present, and then bring someone else along the next time.
Mhm.
So, those are my two things. We are a
Wonderful.
team, and definitely have courage.
In unity is strength. There
In
you go.
unity, strength. Yes.
There you go. Nicola, if you don't mind, I need to do this for you. Oh my gosh, please. Oh, more, more. I've got to keep telling it to you. Oh my gosh, a few reactions. There we are. A few digital reactions. You don't mind. There we are. Oh, absolutely. More of it. More of it. More of it. Yes. More of it. More of it. More of
Bobby,
it.
you're so easy. I love it. I love it.
Oh.
I love it. Thank
Absolutely,
you, Marty.
absolutely, absolutely. It is
Mike, can
well.
I just say one thing actually while you
Of
did that?
course,
Actually, it just reminded me to
of
say
course.
thank you. Thank you for being consistent in this space. Voices like yours are so, so important. People do not understand the importance of having this space, this media space. You don't hear me unless you are around. So I give thanks and praise for you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Please, Joe. Thank you so much, Nicola. And extend our regards to your team, Dr. Carlton, and the team, who I don't see. Okay, but okay. Extend our regards to them, because in unity is strength, working as a team, and you said they're entrepreneurs in their own right, but they've come together to ensure this conference is happening every year. I
Yes.
suspect, though, I might just say, I've said this to Dr. Carlton, you might, if you've sold out so early, you might need an even larger venue. But I'm only saying this publicly. I'm saying this to the world. You might want
So
to check.
can I give a hint to the rest that are amazing
Okay.
entrepreneurs that are growing out there, because I see them out there, even probably the young man that's come up behind that's on the air. We need
Yes.
we need greater sponsors. So please
Ah.
don't think that we are doing this on our own, because we are
Mhm.
just this is labor of love in a lot of ways.
Yes.
But
Yes. Yes.
if you see the value in it, let's have
Yes.
that conversation today or
Okay.
this coming week. Strike while the iron is hot. Become a lead sponsor for us. And we are looking for a few £1,000s. But even if you're a smaller sponsor, we welcome that, because we do need a larger space. We absolutely do. And I know I'm speaking out of turn for Dr. Carton, but I'm like I said, I have no shame in coming back forward. So if you are a business that is turning over, and you're like, you know what, I've got a few £1,000s, a few tens of thousands, and I really want to leverage my brand in this space for the next
Yes.
2 to 3 years,
Yes.
come, let's have that discussion now, please. And let's move the needle so that next year we are in a bigger space, because we do need it. We are, what's the word? There's, plant bound, root bound. We're root bound.
Yes.
We're grown out of our pot. We need
Yes.
to find bigger spaces. So we need the sponsorship, 100%.
So if they want to contact you via that website again,
Yes, via the
I,
website. All the contact details are there.
I'm going to repeat the website address. As I said, it'll be on the screen in the edited version, but I'll repeat it now. It's www. In the words, three W's dot the or the bbec.com. Okay.
Absolutely.
There you go. And the contact us section will
Yes.
allow you to enter your details and connect with the team. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
And
Perfect.
that'll be myself, Dr. Carton Brown, or Karen will respond
Hmm.
to you and get in touch with you, and we can have that discussion and see
Hmm.
how we can benefit your business through
Hmm.
connecting and sponsoring our conference to help so many
Brilliant.
businesses. Thank you,
Brilliant.
Martin.
Sponsors, sponsors, sponsors. Thank you, Nicola. No, thank you again for all of your work and all the work we anticipate in the future.
Thank you.
Blessings to you. Blessings to
You
you.
too. Take care.
Please be. Wow. Fantastic, huh? Fantastic. That was worthwhile. Absolutely worthwhile. I've been to the conferences. I've attended many of their events, and what I'm quite clear that they are delivering extremely good value for money. That's for sure. And those who have attended, who I've spoken to, have all received the benefits, the skill, the experience that the conferences or the master classes or the other seminars offer. Okay. Here, I can validate and vouch for it. I can validate and vouch for it, therefore. Otherwise, it would not be here on the Motivator Show. Okay. So if in doubt, ask questions. I say again, if in doubt, ask questions. And you will note that at the beginning of the show, despite the slight difficulties, you'll recall that I refer to some broad stats describing our community. One that is spending billions upon billions of pounds here in Britain. Okay. We are a growth market for all business sectors. We are a growth market. Okay. And therefore, it is incumbent upon yourselves and others to take advantage and respectfully of that market, the opportunities that it does afford. Let's say again, you can do it by yourself, that's fine. You can be a lone ranger, as it were, okay, and not trust anyone else, just be by yourself. That's true. You can go so far. But if you want genuine growth, meaningful growth that allows you to rest occasionally because you're sharing the burden with others, in unity is strength. And these interpersonal connections is a critical component here. Okay, how to build meaningful connections with others who share your vision, or indeed a vision that you arrive at through a mutual discussion, and you agree a mission statement, as it were, an intent statement, as it were, that you both agree upon. Then you then go to the next level, agree upon the rules of engagement to ensure there is equality at all phases, because you're genuine business partners. And in doing so, you can grow your business. Some might be very good at marketing, others at accounting. Others might be very good at PR, others at leadership and business administration. Others might be very good at international trade negotiations. Others might be a real technocrat and getting into the weeds of contracts and those documents which are fundamental to any business success. Others may just have enthusiasm, okay, and attract customers to you. Yeah, these are all complementary qualities that enable a business to thrive. Give it a try. Work with others, but do your due diligence beforehand, of course. Ensure that you can work at a professional level and work in a way that protects both interests, not just your interest. And in doing so, you find strengths. Because potential is there waiting for you to pluck and enjoy. It's waiting for you to pluck and enjoy. Working with others in a meaningful way, in a professional way, you've got all your documents laid out, and there's mutual agreement, they're signed and sealed, okay? It gives you the opportunity to move forward in a mutually owned business with substance and intention. Mhm. But if you've got resources and you want to invest, why not join with Dr. Carlton and Nicola here to identify businesses you can invest in, take a share ownership in, or at least, you know, because that is actually the way in which most communities function. Yeah, they seek out investors. Yeah, they increase your capital base, and once a bank sees that you have investors, they're more likely to invest in you. In other words, the loans, etc., the finance you require for the real genuine growth, because you've been able to attract investors. Investors are a critical component to any business success, and you must treat your investors as precious commodities, ensuring that you work with a diligence that you protect their investment. Because that's always the fear of investors, that those you invest in may not respect the fact that you've taken the risk. Okay. So honestly, if you have an investor, treat that person with kid gloves. Protect their investment, that confidence they've expressed in you. And together you will be successful. There you are. I hope you found that useful. I hope you found the information shared inspirational, provided you with options for the future. Okay. Now remember, business isn't about, he says, greed. It is about satisfying a need, okay, but respecting those who are patronizing your business. Treat them as if they're your best friend because they're patronizing your business. Never take your customers for granted. Mhm. These are those straightforward rules. Go to those masterclasses and they've got a thousand various rules, but most certainly these are fundamental rules that I'm referring to. But if in doubt, ask questions. So I recommend the UK Black Business Entrepreneurs Conference, which is now sold out apparently, but the after party or networking gathering, he says, okay, on the 28th will be an opportunity for you to meet those who attend the conference and those who didn't attend the conference, but have got products or services that they wish to network and find partners or opportunities for growth. Yeah? They'll all be there. I most probably will be there. I might even do some filming there. I most probably will be there. Okay? I commend these initiatives to you. We must continue to create greater financial security around ourselves, our families, and indeed our communities, our networks. and building meaningful businesses, which has a range of people, different skills, but all contributing to the wealth creation, is the foundations of successful businesses. It's not the one-person band, as it were. Yeah, it's usually the team that produces the growth. Dr. Carlton, Nicola have got a team who they work with, who are equally highly motivated individuals. There you are. There you are. I hope you found this podcast helpful and inspirational. And I hope if you are in doubt that you ask questions. So give us 24, 48 hours or so. We will re-edit this particular podcast, and you'll see on the screen and in the commentary references that allows you to go directly to the information you need, so that if you're in business, you can get your business started. Or alternatively, if you have an established business or at least seeking for growth, links to those who are actively seeking to invest in your business. If in doubt, ask questions. This is the motivator here. This is where we translate our words into action, and where success is ours for the taking. And where success is ours for the taking. Be assured that is true. That's an absolute truthful statement. You incorporate that as part of your thinking, your consciousness, and success will follow you. Forgive me, it'll be ahead of you, it'll be around you. You'll be surrounded by success if you assume the correct mindset. Yeah? Failures are those who think in doubt. Success are those who think in terms of how they can and will be successful. It is very much a mindset, okay? So, if in doubt, ask questions. And of course, I am the motivator, because this is where we translate our words into action, and where success is ours for the taking. Until the next podcast, I remain the motivator. 2025 UK Black Business Entrepreneurs Conference, Trailblazing Wealth Creators. Attendees at the Black Business Entrepreneurs Conference get the unique opportunity to delve into the latest research, gaining invaluable insights from industry experts and connecting with accomplished entrepreneurs. Through networking, attendees build relationships that extend beyond the conference, fostering collaboration that propels businesses to new heights. Additionally, our conference provides a unique platform to connect with buyers within public and private sectors, enabling attendees to learn and apply best practice that fuel innovation, creativity, and sustainability while staying true to their value. The 2021 census population size of Black and mixed race communities. Black, African, Caribbean and Black British is 2.5 million persons, or 4.2% of the population. African, 1.5 million. Caribbean, 623,000. Other Black communities, 327,000 persons. The geographic distribution of Britain's Black population, the strongest presence in urban centres such as London, in which we are 13.5% of the population are Black or mixed heritage. Other urban centres include Birmingham, Manchester, Bristol, Leeds. We are, of course, a younger than average population, concentrated in urban areas with strong cultural and economic influence. The estimated annual spending power here in Britain, disposable income of £1.6 trillion. Black and mixed heritage populations are approximately 5% of the total share, and adjusted for income disparity of 80% of national average, the estimated spending power of Black and mixed heritage communities are approximately 60 to 70 billion pounds annually. Top sectors of spending and influence include beauty and healthcare, fashion and lifestyle, music and entertainment, technology and mobile devices, food and dining, remittances and education. Black and mixed heritage communities. Why this market matters. We are highly engaged and we are loyal customer base. We are cultural influencers that far exceed our numerical share. We are underrepresented but rapidly growing demographics. Brand that reflect identity and value gain loyalty. The 2025 UK Black Business Entrepreneurs Conference. We have supported over 1,200 businesses to gain access to retailers and corporate. Listen to these testimonials.
I am going to nurture my existing relationships because I've met so many people here today that I haven't seen in 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and they're exactly the people that I need for what I'm doing right now. So rather than just trying to meet new people, how about nurturing and developing the existing relationships that we've got?
Okay, so I would say that it's a combination of empowerment, education, and entertainment. It was a brilliant day all round, and the connections that have been made, I think, are potentially lifelong friendships, connections, business partners, and just a beautiful environment for everyone to really and truly learn and grow from.
I found it very educational, inspiring, and also motivational. The talk that I went to was for the picture success. Because I come from a food and drink background, that part of the event was very beneficial to me, because obviously you got a chance for the producers to speak and engage with the buyers as well as the audience. So you've got to understand the journey in regards to from the producer's point of view and the buyer's point of view, and how they get their product to market, and what the supermarkets and the buyers are potentially looking for in that individual food and drink entrepreneur. So I found that side of the event 100% beneficial to me personally.
I would say it was absolutely brilliant, better than I expected. I didn't have any particular expectation, I just thought it'd be good, but I thought it was much better than that. I thought it was absolutely superb. It got the balance between education, information, and inspiration. Got all of those things mixed together, so I thought it was brilliant.
The whole day was fantastic, but if I have to pick one, I think Chris's talk at the end, because I could Bruce's talk. It was entertaining, educating, inspiring, interweaving his life story, his achievements into entrepreneurship. I thought he was a great performer.
Carlton's presentation, really seeing like where we're at as a community of businesses, like black businesses, in comparison to everyone else, like by the numbers, and just categorically with research that's been done, just knowing that, okay, cool, this is the work that's to be done, like this is the gap right now. I think for me that was a great highlight for me, because I've always been very passionate about entrepreneurship. I left school and dove straight into it. But I'd never had that level of insight, and just like hearing everyone's journey as well, hearing all of these stories, and just really getting a perspective of entrepreneurial history, black British entrepreneurial history, I think that was what it was for me. But yeah, if I'd have to say Carlton's presentation that really just demonstrated to me that, okay, cool, this is what we need to do. Like, this is where we are, this is where we can go. And, you know, these are solutions that we can explore to get us to close the gap between where we are as black people and black entrepreneurs and where everyone else is or may be.
My main takeaway from today's conference was, I said to Carlton, I think it's been amazing that this is the second year that he's been able to run this successfully. So my main takeaway is being able to get really professional people like Chris Akabusi, Lord Hastings, Eric Collins, who came on and really gave a factual, clear explanation of what he's looking for. And also, one of the main takeaways is realizing the power of women in the future. That women are going to really take a really prominent role in terms of businesses, because in the next 10, 15 years, they are seen from statistics and what he has said as the ones that's going to be starting up more businesses in the future. So there are many takeaways, and I can't say that there's a main one. There are many, and those are just a few that I've been able to remember.
The UK Black Business Entrepreneurs Conference is here. Get involved.